All right, let's talk about a time when a single piece of software literally brought the UK's National Health Service to its knees. This is the story of the WannaCry attack, and believe me, it was a digital disaster with a very, very human cost.
You know, it really does sound like something straight out of a disaster movie, right? But back in May 2017, this was the reality. We're not talking about a hurricane or a power grid failure here. Nope. It was a single piece of malicious software that brought the entire UK National Health Service to a grinding halt. And look, this wasn't just some headache for the IT department. For the doctors, the nurses, and thousands upon thousands of patients, this was a full-blown public health crisis, a digital state of emergency.
So, what was the weapon here? It was a piece of malware called WannaCry, and it's a particularly nasty type of software known as ransomware. See, it doesn't just steal your data, it takes it hostage. It encrypts all your essential files, locks them up in a digital vault, and then pops up a message demanding money to get them back.
Inside the hospitals, the effect was just immediate and catastrophic. Just try to picture this. You're a doctor, a nurse, and suddenly you are locked out of all patient histories. X-rays, blood test results, appointment schedules. Everything. Gone. Vanished behind a scary-looking ransomware screen. You can imagine the chaos that followed.
But here's the really shocking part of the story. It isn't just that the attack happened, it's that it was entirely preventable. This whole disaster came down to a single, fatal flaw in the system.
The core issue was, honestly, surprisingly simple and tragically avoidable. A lot of the computers inside the NHS were running on old, outdated systems. Microsoft had actually released a critical security patch, basically a digital fix, months before to stop exactly this kind of attack. But for thousands of those machines, nobody ever installed it. I mean, it really was as simple as this. On one side, you have a secure system. The patch is applied and it's totally protected. On the other side, you have the NHS system where that patch was ignored and it was like leaving the front door wide open with a welcome mat for attackers. It was a total, preventable disaster just waiting to happen. So this technical failure, this simple mistake, it had absolutely devastating real-world consequences. This story stops being about computers right here, and it becomes all about the human cost. Just look at this number for a second. Over 19,000. Let that sink in. What do you think that represents?
Ask the number. The official number of appointments, including critical surgeries and important specialist consultations that had to be canceled. And every single one of those numbers, that's a person, that's a family, waiting for care, who were suddenly turned away, all because of a piece of software.
And the ripple effects just kept spreading. The impact was systemic. Patient care obviously got hit the hardest, but then you had the emergency response getting crippled. Ambulances were literally being diverted from hospitals because they couldn't take any more patients. Inside, staff were thrown back in time, forced to use pen and paper for everything. And maybe the most damaging part of the whole shebang, public trust in this vital institution was just shattered.
So, okay, what's the big takeaway from this whole catastrophe? Well, this event really forced everyone to stop and rethink the connection between digital code and actual human safety.
This quote from the analysis really just says it all, doesn't it? It connects the dots perfectly. A tiny vulnerability in a line of code can directly threaten human life and shake our faith in the very systems designed to protect us. The lessons here are absolutely critical. First off, cybersecurity is a public safety issue. Period. It's just as vital as firefighting or policing. Second, keeping our critical systems available, well, that's non-negotiable. When a hospital's IT goes down, it's as serious as the power going out. And that means investing in IT security can't just be some afterthought. Because when you get right down to it, neglecting basic cyber hygiene, simple stuff like installing updates, that's not a minor risk. It can have life or death consequences.
Look, the attack on the NHS was a massive wake-up call for everyone. It proved that our physical safety in our hospitals, on our transport systems, with our power grids, it all now depends on these digital walls we've built. So the question I'll leave you with is this: are those walls strong enough?